All right, guys, welcome back to House of Prep. My name's Jerry. Hey, it's prepper pantry time, right? It's getting your pantry. I like to do these videos about once a month. And what this does for me, it helps me out because then I get to reorganize, okay? So after I do a video, it gives me a chance to, I'll go back through this and I have a secondary pantry that I use. That's kind of like my backup pantry, right? And I'll use that and rotate things down into my working pantry. So that's just a quick tip for those that might still be kind of setting up some ideas for maybe your household. We'll talk about space and some of that things as well. Having a good spice rack on the inside door of your pantry also helps eliminate space issues. If you're trying to free up a cabinet in the kitchen and you have all these extra spices or they're piling up and you can't see them because they get shoved to the back of your pantry, having some kind of a spice rack or somewhere, if you don't like the one, if I remember, I'll put this one on the description, my video description down below. And you can pull this up. We found these on Amazon, which, by the way, if you buy this or anything that you shop, anything with the holidays coming up, with Christmas coming up, anything you purchase through my link on Amazon, just go to a link, just do your normal search and your normal shopping. I'll get a small kickback here at House of Prep. So my channel does get a kickback for that. So thank you for those of you that every month you do make sure you do your shopping on Amazon. You always go through my link. So thank you. So having your pantry and wow, having a working pantry right here in the kitchen, and this is the hub. Okay, this is where the family comes for snacks, right? This is where they come to grab stuff to make meals. And you could already have backups to everything right here in your pantry, at least one backup to everything. So that should be rule number one. A secondary item, so when you run out of something, you already have it, and then make it go on the grocery list. We know we've talked about that, but we have a lot of new folks here. So it's good to do a refresher from time to time. Have you a running grocery list? And if you can kind of help get the rest of the family on board, I call that family buy-in, okay? If you can get the family buy-in on helping you create your grocery list as they throw something in the trash can, write it on the list, and that makes your job so much easier if you're the primary shopper for the house, okay? You'll already have everybody make sure it's legible, tell them, you want to be able to read their handwriting, but man, it already makes everything so much easier. You'll be able to grab that list, add your things to it, and you're good to go. But when you do periodically go through, not everybody's perfect, even us, right? Sometimes we forget to write something down. It's good to kind of do a once over. Sometimes pull everything out, clean your shelves, get everything clean, get everything organized again. And as you're putting things back, you get it reorganized. And then you can start realizing I need to either bring stuff down from my secondary pantry, or I'm running out of some of this and I need to add this to the list as well. So it's a great chance to get organized every month or so and just kind of do a reset so you can take stock of what you have and find the missing holes. Fill in the gaps. That's what we like to say. Fill in those gaps. So having a pantry, one of the things that I always recommend, especially when you bring in your groceries from the grocery store, everyone's out grabbing from the trunk of your vehicle, from the back of your vehicle, bringing all the groceries in, is have a magic marker ready to go. Now you yourself, or you can have somebody delegated to help do this, go through like your canned goods, more of your dry goods stuff, more things that have more of a shelf life, and add dates to them on the tops, on the label. Some people like to write on the top what's in here in case you lose the label, right? In case the label goes off. But having that date so it's big and bold right on the front, right on the top, wow, man, it helps with organization. If you forget to rotate something, you can just look. You can look in real quick, kind of scan. You'll see all the dates. Man, just especially if you do a whole reset, it's so much easier to restock it in numerical order than in date order sequence, so that you can see it if you've written it up on their bag. So that's just a tip. Usually there's always one or two people that are newer to stocking up and to having preps and backups to things, and they realize, wow, that's a lifesaver because this is so much easier to see some of those little tiny little best by dates. And we know that you can go beyond those dates to an extent, but still, it's always a good practice to rotate. Some things you can't fudge on in life, you have to follow some of the dates are pretty close, and that's the best thing to do is follow that. So when you're stocking your pantry, usually you have like a bread area, right? Place, and try to stay consistent, because when you have multiple people living in the household, it's good that if you kind of stay consistent with where you keep things, it just keeps things flowing. People know right where to look, right where to go, and then they get into the same habit that you've created on helping keeping it organized and clean, right? That's what you want. You want a nice, clean, organized pantry. I added a light in mine. Now, if you already have a well-lit pantry, you don't have to. Some people have joked in the past and they said, no, we thought you opened up the refrigerator door and you're talking about your refrigerator, the way it's lit up in here. But there's an LED strip. I do have a plug in here, so I got the kind that you could plug right into the wall, and I installed it right behind this door jamb here, where the hinges are, right behind on the inside wall. And that way it brights up that whole pantry. And again, it's making things easier for you when you've got enough going on in life and you're already been working all day, and now you got to come home, you're going to clean, you got to cook, you got to do dishes. You just want to be able to see so you can grab what you need and get over to the working area, get over to the counters and do what you need. So whether you've got beans, your rice, pastas, pasta sauces, your vegetables, ramen noodles, tuna, just chickens, whatever it is. I mean, you even keep your Keystone some meats handy, right? I mean, you've got a lot of these stored up, but having some handy, keep them there. While I'm thinking of it too, having some good Ziploc bags. Just, it doesn't have to be expensive, but you want something that works. Make sure it's kind that you've used before, it's you sealed. They can be freezer bags, just for sometimes leftovers or quick free grabs, things that you can just throw into a Ziploc bag, toss it in the freezer, save you a minute, and you plan on getting out like next week or something. Or sometimes you just want to throw some stuff in and toss it in the pantry. Just some good Ziploc bags and things to kind of help just keep things moving, right? If you have something bust open or a bag and you're trying to figure out where to pour it in, sometimes it's a space saver using a Ziploc bag, or the freezer. Sometimes those big bulky boxes of things, right? I always use the example of like Hot Pockets. You get that big bulky box of Hot Pockets, that gets opened up, a couple gets used, and then all of a sudden it's taking up all of this space in the freezer. We'll just go ahead and empty them into a Ziploc bag, zip it up, air it out, and then you kind of morph it and it fits so much better than these big old bulky boxes. So just storage tips. So you're like, well, Jerry, I'm running out of storage. I've been stacking it to the rafters and I'm running out. Or you're like, I'm in a small apartment and I don't know where to go with this stuff. Canned goods especially, pretty much anywhere that you have a controlled air environment, heat during the winter, you have some AC during the hot, humid days of summer. Keeping your stuff put, you want to keep it environmentally protected. You don't want that stuff getting bad, especially with the heat and humidity that's out there. So putting things under your bed. If you've got some of those long, Rubbermaid, those big giant Tupperware type plastic bins that are flatter, right? They're lower to the ground and they're wide, and they can, you can slide those things back out from the bed, from under the couches, and you can pack them full of supplies. So you can put beans in there, rice in there. Like I said, you got canned goods, you can stack those in there. So just get creative. Find nooks and crannies around the home. Maybe you're not using the space or something that you can utilize, and putting them inside of a container to make it easy to pull in and out and to move around. So then that way you're not just, fire in the hole and tossing one can at a time under the couch or under the bed. And how you got to climb under there and find them, and, make it easy for yourself. Just think of creative, outside of the box ways to store things, and jump in the comments. I love it when everyone has cool ideas and things. You have a neat idea on how you like to do your pantry. Back in the day, I added a couple shelves in here because the way it came, it was just this wooden frame that was in here, and all this wasted space up here. So if you go to your different closets around the home and you look up and you're like, wow, I could put a shelf up there. There's all that empty space that's there. Now you might have to have a stool, and that's okay. Get you an extra shelf. Now you have all this extra space like there. And then also like in our laundry room, I did the same thing. And there was another hall closet. I did the same thing, put a higher shelf in there. Now you have all the way to the ceiling. You can stack it to the rafters, right? So you just find ways to create more space. If you can do that in your bedroom closets, add some extra shelves around the top perimeter, then do that. Some of your throwawayable stuff like trash bags and things like that you can store in the garage. If you have to put an extra shelf out there, like I said, higher up, get out your little short ladder, right? The old step stool. But find ways to help your pantry breathe. You don't want to just have it crammed. Sometimes you don't have a choice. If that's the only space you have, it's going to be crammed and you're just going to have to figure it out. So if you have a chance, you want it somewhat breathable. You don't want things just jammed in here. Like you can see there's open space right above here. It's not totally crammed in here, because I want it flowing and I want to be able to look in, and as things are missing and things, I can go to my secondary locations and I can bring down and based on the dates, and again, put them in the back, rotate things forward, and then just repeat the process. So anyway, I hope that helps. Like I said, about once a month or so, I like to bring up the topic because there's always great ideas in the comments, and it's always worth revisiting. Like I said, who doesn't like a good working pantry in your home? That's our food. That's what we like to eat, right? That's what we cook, and that's a daily thing, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's part of our lives, is having a nice workable pantry. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, a good kickoff to a great week. We're getting closer and closer to Thanksgiving. I hope you're getting your pantry stocked for holiday supplies, folks. Get your baking goods. Don't wait. Don't be the one waiting to the last minute and you're in there walking around wall-to-wall people and the shelves are empty, for your favorite goods that you're trying to get so you can make that world-famous cake or that pie that you're making. So get out there, get it done, guys. And I will catch you guys later. Bye now.